Hi y'all, this is the second part of Module 4 project, and I did give everybody an extra attempt on this as well in Cengage so that you can try this again if you realize where you made some mistakes. This is going to be step 7 through 13, so we're going to jump in with step 7. Well, actually, I want to backtrack a little bit. I realized when I was sort of resetting this up that resizing this row 1, which is like the very first step, can actually be a little weird. I tend to drag, and I realized when you drag the border of the row, it doesn't actually give you an option to do 8.25. So if you actually either right click or 2-finger tap on that, you can actually go to row height, and it will actually let you type in the height that you want. So if you struggled with that, that's another way around that. So at this point, I've got everything through step 6 done on this copy. We are now going to create a data table. We are going to create a data table in this field down here that is going to compare interest rates for the loan. So the way we're going to do that is we need to highlight the area that we want the data table to be in. So that is C11 through F26. And then what we're going to do is we are going to go to data on the ribbon, the data tab on the ribbon. And this is a what if analysis function. So we're going to click that drop arrow, we're going to click data table. And this is super simple. If you read the instructions, it says use the rate in cell D6 as the column input cell. So I am very simply going to type into that D6. I'm going to click OK. And notice that it just goes ahead and fills everything. So it just takes D6, that rate there, and it figures out, based on starting with that, it figures out the different monthly payments that you would make with different interest rates. Might be something important to consider when you're looking at loans. So cell D6 includes a rate that the bank quoted. Now what we want to do is we want to create a conditional formatting highlight cells rule to highlight the matching rate in green fill with dark green text so that she can see the information that she needs more easily. So to create a conditional formatting rule, we go to Home, and it says conditional formatting over here. If you click the drop down, which is usually important, if you just click the button, sometimes it does not give you what you want. You go to Highlight Cells rule, and we are going to go to equal to, actually I forgot a step here because it actually says we have a range that we need to consider. So let's do that first. So C12 through C26, we want to find that value. So if we don't tell Excel where to look, it's not going to know how to do what we want. So okay, now we can go highlight cells rule. We're going to look at equal to. We want to do equal to D6. So if I click on that, it will let me go in here and say, oh, look, here's D6. I can click that, and it will just put that in there for me. But I also want to edit and change the color here. So in the formatting, I'm going to go, I want to go green fill with dark green text. So drop down, green fill with dark green text. I'm going to click OK. And notice that now it's got that cell with that interest rate highlighted in that column, so it's easy to find. Next thing, Nadia has set up the structure for an amortization schedule. That's a bugaboo word for me, it's hard to say. In the range H4 to L15. We want to finish the amortization schedule by completing the formula in J5. So amortization schedule, just so you know. If you don't, that's telling you how long it's going to take to pay off a loan and what it's going to look like along the way, what your balance and is going to look like, and what you paid on principal versus what you paid on interest. So that's what this is going to be. So the half the work is done for us. Actually, the hardest part is done for us, which is the if-then statement that has certain things being pulled from other places. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to J5. Helps if I can see it. So J5 right here. So I'm going to check. Oop, that's J6. I don't want to be in J6. I want to be in J5. So checking your cell name is always a good thing. And notice that a formula pops up. So this is called an if-then function. It's a conditional, or it's called an if function, but it's a conditional statement that tells us, hey, if certain things are happening, this is what I want you to do, Excel. So if H5 is less than or equal to the date in D7, which is down here, or the term in D7 rather, the number of years, we're going to do the following things. So what we're going to do is we're going to create the formula. So what we're doing is we're nesting one formula inside of another. So when we do that, we don't have to put the equal symbol in there. We're going to put in PV because that is the formula that we're going to be using here. So we want to use the PV formula, PV function rather. And what we're going to do is I like to do this. I'm going to open parentheses and I'm going to close parentheses. The reason I do that is with any programming, with any coding, when you open a parentheses, you also have to close that parentheses or errors are going to occur because the software or the machine or whatever's reading your code is not going to understand where one action starts and one action stops. So if I do that, I don't get my parentheses confused. So then I'm going to click inside those parentheses and I need to put certain arguments in there. So I need to put my rate in there. My rate, according to my instructions, is going to be my rate over here, that defined name divided by 12. Then I'm going to use a comma because now I need my number of periods. My number of periods is a little more complicated. It's going to be term minus H5. So notice it says subtract the year value in H5 from term. So that's not H5 minus term, it's term minus H5. And then multiply the result by 12 to specify the number of months remaining to pay off the loan. So this is a little bit weird. So what we have to do is we have to make sure that we put things in here that it's going to understand. So we have to do term, oops, I don't know what I was just typing into. That was the document. So we need to do term minus H5. So that's part what we need to do. But notice that it says when we look at the rest of this formula, we need to then multiply by 12. So we're subtracting first, then multiplying. That's a violation of order of operations for most things. So I'm going to put another set of parentheses in here around term minus H5 and then multiply by 12. That will say that I'm taking the difference between these two values and multiplying by 12 to get my number of periods. I'm going to put another comma in so that I can do my payment. Payment is going to be a monthly payment, the monthly payment that we've already created in our table up here as a negative value. So I'm going to put in a negative sign. Again, I'm typing into my instructions document. Do that a lot. Negative and then monthly payment. And then that's all we need. So at this point, we've got all our sets of nested parentheses, nice and neat. I'm going to click enter. And it fills in my ending balance after the first year of paying my loan. The next step is fairly simple. We're going to fill the remaining cells with that formula. So we're going to go, okay, here's my cell. I'm going to grab my fill handle. I'm going to pull it down to cell number 10 or J10. And notice now it gives us dropping amounts until we get to 0. Also notice my graph changed because this graph down here is linked to that information. Now it's making a shape that's showing the increase in the amount paid on the principal versus a decrease in the amount paid on the interest. Okay, So this next step, I'm actually going to leave alone. I'm going to let y'all do that, just because it's just simply doing some formatting, some options on the chart down here. So you should be able to click on that, get your chart design tabs up here, and then just do your formatting. That's not, you've done stuff like that before. So just pay attention to detail there. The next one is deleting the cost estimates worksheet. That's really easy to do. We go down here, you right click or double tap it. You click delete, it will delete the sheet. The last thing I want to do on this project, I want to demonstrate a little bit, is this last step, which is going to this retirement projections worksheet and creating yet another formula. So what we want to do is figure out how to find the future value of something. So we're going to click in C10. And notice we're using that FV function before. That's the same function that we inserted into that previous function in J5. So we're going to go equals FV, open parentheses. And you know what? It's even good if in these kinds of things, you can even put your close parentheses on this as well. It doesn't like it because it thinks I'm forgetting things. But so I just clicked outside and then went back into the parentheses. So the reason I do that, again, I don't want to forget to close my parentheses. That's really important. So I need, in this case, I don't have defined names on any of these. So I'm not going to type in like rate or anything like that. I'm just going to use the cell names that are included in the instructions. So I'm going to go C6, comma, C8, comma, C7. I've already closed my parentheses, and I'm going to click my green arrow, my green check mark, and now I have that value. The last thing I need to do is then fill that range here, and then it allows me to compare those retirement plans. All right, that's all we're going to do with that. Hopefully that helps you with that, and stay tuned. I'll do something for project 5 in the near future. Bye.